Welcome back, everybody. What a game it was. Sunday, I was there, of course, and it certainly wasn't what I expected. It exceeded my expectations. And as a Jet fan and used to certain things happening, I know some people say, "Well, you didn't win the game," but uh, I've always said in the past, I'd rather lose an exciting game than go to a football game or even watch it on TV where they're scoring just 10 points on offense or three plays and punt, punt, punt. Uh, but with that being said, I'm going to give Ed the floor. He got to watch the game on TV. I was at the stadium. Ed, what was your impressions? I mean, it was super interesting.
It was a very interesting game, Dave, I thought. I mean, first off, I was pleasantly surprised where although it was a field goal, we scored and had a nice opening drive.
Hmm.
Um, right away they gave up a touchdown after that, so it was 7-3. But I thought the offense play over, without looking at the final score and in the end of the bad taste I mouth from into the game, the
Yeah,
offense looked great. We talked last week about if Wilson and Fields could get that chemistry going they had in college, and they seem to have that. I mean, they both, they had 7 receptions for 95 yards and a touchdown, so he had a nice game. Garrett Wilson as well with Justin Fields. Fields had decent numbers. He ran. His passing was controlled.
yeah,
I mean, they had 309 over 390 yards. I mean, it was amazing that the offense clicked. But it's always the one thing. And the defense, notwithstanding the score, the defense didn't play. I mean, they have 271 yards, right?
yeah,
I just threw for four
yeah,
touchdowns, but they couldn't run the ball. And
right.
then they had that gift touchdown, with the Gibson fumble.
Yeah, yeah.
So other than that, and a couple of questions I had about management, like the end of the first half. Why were the Jets calling timeouts at that point? I don't understand that. Um, and I was a
Yeah.
little, and a couple of 2-point conversions, I was a little on the fence with at that time. I would just take the points. But overall, I mean, other than that fumble, I think the team it was a surprising game for me, a pleasantly surprising game. But at the end of the day, there was a loss at the end of the game, so that was a little disappointing. But overall, I
Yeah,
think the offense played great.
yeah, it was really, I'm going to say shocking for two reasons. Number one, and listen, most of the things we say here, the experts tend to agree with as far as Justin Fields goes. Let's just keep it to that subject right now. I was totally shocked at how good Justin Fields played. And of course, I'm talking about passing the ball, pinpoint accuracy, especially the pass to Garrett Wilson. I mean, these are things that we thought he would struggle with. I mean, running the ball, we know we can do that. Staying in the pocket,
Staying in the pocket,
keeping his eyes downfield, just in case looking to see if somebody was open, which happened a few times. So, passing wise, that was shockingly surprising to me. That was really exciting to see. Now, throughout the course of this conversation, we're going to say, was it just one game? What's going to happen next week? We'll get into that down the road. The second thing that was shocking to me is the fact that, well, I mean, listen, so first of all, I was lucky enough to catch the game today on TV on the NFL Network because shame on me, I didn't DVR the game. I should have DVR'd the game because I'm at the stadium. There's distractions. People are standing up in front of you. I'm in the 300 section, nosebleed section, so I didn't get the whole feel for it like when you watch it on TV. And watching it on TV, Brees Hall ran like he ran in his rookie season. I mean, that was the most impressive thing was Brees Hall running 10, 18 yards a pop. Justin Fields is passing. And don't forget, Ed, there's one thing we have to emphasize here. The Steelers and teams going forward know the Jets are going to attempt to run the football. And we did.
yeah,
That's what is surprising,
118 yards
because,
rushing. Yeah, there's 118
yeah,
yards rushing.
their
They
whole
averaged
goal
4.7
was,
yards. They averaged 4.7 yards a carry. It was a great
yeah,
run.
it was insane. I mean, listen, it's one game, and who knows what's going to happen next week when we do this. But you know, this tells me initially one game in what coaching does. Because how does it happen now that all of a sudden now, the first run is an 18-yard run? They know we're going to run the football, and they still ran the football.
As we talked last week, they played
Yeah,
against a great coach, Mike Tomlin. He was stuffing the box too, so it wasn't
yeah,
like they ran the ball and they knew they were running. They knew they were going to run the ball, and we still ran the ball against them.
yeah. I mean, I feel like, well, most people feel like the Jets. didn't get beat, the Jets lost the game. Like they beat themselves, with those
How
legs.
did they beat themselves?
Yeah,
I mean, that
right.
you can't give up 14 points in 50 seconds.
Yeah. And the other thing that was the only thing that was disturbing, and like I said, it's one game in. It would have been great if they would have pulled out the win. And we're going to see what the corrections are for next week. Uh, a lot of those passes and some of the touchdown passes, a lot of those passes was blown coverages. Guys were wide open for Rodgers, wide open. That was a little bit disturbing. That could happen with the Jet defense. So we'll see if they can correct that. We'll see if they can keep the running game going. We'll see if Justin Fields just is good, does as well as he did. No interceptions. I mean, it was just really exciting to see that.
It's a big next week. That's coming up Sunday is a big test for Dave. This is a huge. This is Buffalo team that many people picked for the Super Bowl to win the Super Bowl.
It is, and
coming off a huge win themselves last week.
Yeah, I mean, listen. I said to myself today, they're playing back-to-back Hall of Fame quarterbacks, the Jets. So it's no easy task. But listen, you want to be competitive, you want to be good, you want to be in the game, because after that, I think possibly, now we don't know what Pittsburgh is. I like to have 4 games into the season to see how all these teams pan out, because we don't know if we played the best team in football or the worst team in football, and that's going to be with a lot of teams that are going on in week 1. But then we go to Tampa Bay, which a game I'll be traveling to. I'm hoping to have a nice video on that with my friend John. Tampa Bay, we'll see what they do this week. They shouldn't be as good in the power rankings as a Pittsburgh.
No, or Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Buffalo is a Super Bowl.
Yeah, absolutely.
A Super Bowl caliber team.
Yeah. Now let's see what Tampa Bay does this week. I'm not sure where they play. I'm not sure if they play whatever, but let's see what they do. Let's see if they beat up on somebody or if they just barely win or even lose. So we have Tampa Bay. That might be depending on how good Pittsburgh is, because we don't know for sure. We're just assuming because Aaron Rodgers is going to be a good team.
Tampa Bay, and traditionally they were a good team. Pittsburgh has traditionally been a good team under Mike Tomlin. That's it.
I mean, Mike Tomlin has winning records with a no-name quarterback. So with Rodgers, they should be pretty good. So now
Tampa Bay's playing Houston this week on Monday night.
Tampa Bay.
Yes.
So let's see how big they win. I'm not sure what the spread is, but I'm sure they're favored to win. And I believe that's going to be at Houston.
That's at Houston, yes.
And I think when I go to Tampa Bay, it's going to be their home opener. Because I think they played away last week, Tampa Bay. So I think it'll be their home opener. I'm sitting right by the pirate ship in the 200 section, by the way.
That's a great looking stadium. I'm looking forward, Dave, to hearing a report, not only about the game, but about the stadium. Because I always interesting looking stadium down there.
I'm excited to see it too. I'm going to try to get some good video and whatnot. It should be good. So like I said, listen, if we compete and play well against the Buffalo Bills, which we have in the past, even with not a good football team with the Jets, then we have Tampa Bay coming up, and then we have Miami coming up. Let's see if Miami can bounce back or if they're having some problems. And don't forget, Zach Wilson is the backup quarterback for Miami.
Sure.
And that's going to be a Monday night game also. So the Jets are probably going to stay in Florida.
The one saving grace might be that at least I'm hoping for. I mean, if Buffalo lost opening day to Baltimore, they would have been looking for blood. There's no way I think Buffalo could have started the season 0-2. So at least hopefully they're a little spent from that big victory they had last week against Baltimore.
Yeah, and it's funny. I stopped watching the game because Baltimore kept putting points up and kept having a decent size lead. So I expected to wake up next morning and check the standing and say to myself, "Wow, everybody in the AFC East is 0-1," and whatever. But unfortunately, the Buffalo Bills did win, or fortunately, depending how you look at it, they did win. But yeah, so I mean, listen, this first game, and as Jet fans, we're not going to get too giddy about it, But if this is the team going forward, and we can compete and we can stay into these close games, there is a big part of this schedule coming up. If we can almost beat Pittsburgh and almost beat Buffalo, you're going to start. I hate to even talk about this because it's one game, but if these things hold true, our predictions for 10 wins, 9 wins, whatever, is definitely within reach if this team is good. Now,
that's what happens.
But But yeah, so it was really people not knowing the Jets or not knowing the Jet fans. Not I shouldn't say the Jet fans, but people like, oh yeah, you lost the game. Like, I was excited not to watch a boring football game because I had no idea what we were going to go into. We talked about it last week. Was I going to leave there laughing? Oh my God, that was embarrassing. Was I going to leave there saying, oh, here we go, we only scored like 13 points the whole game? So it was shockingly surprising that they played as well as they played, put up that many points, ran the ball so well. The defense has to make a lot of adjustments, and that's Evans Glenn's specialty and his strong point, especially on the back end. And yeah, I mean, let's listen. I'm going to tell you. You tell me. I'm hoping they can stay in the game with Buffalo and compete with them. What are you hoping? I mean, besides a win, obviously. I mean,
I'm hoping that they exactly what you said. I just want to see them compete with Buffalo like they did with Pittsburgh, and even if it's 0-2, I want to feel good like I did after. I mean, I felt terrible after. Well, then again, I mean, 60-yard kick. You lose it on a 60-yard field goal.
I know. It's
But like I just want to see them compete. I want to see them not. I want to see them compete at the level they competed last week against Pittsburgh, against Buffalo.
absolutely.
I want to see, and I want to see Josh Allen on his ass a handful of times as well.
Yeah.
I want to see
Yeah.
them run the ball. I want to see Justin Fields and Garrett Wilson hopefully connect again. But we also need more receivers involved in the passing game too. I mean,
Well, so it's funny you said that because I don't think we have any other receivers. That's the problem right now.
There's a lot on the roster. And you have some of the young guys. I like to see them step up. And I know Mason Taylor had one reception for 20 yards.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him get more involved in
Yeah.
it as well.
Bucket had some receptions.
Yes, he did have a lot. Yes, he did.
Yeah. I mean, it was like I said. So the biggest nightmare would be that the Jets lose 30-10 or something Sunday. But
Could
let's hope.
happen.
Yeah, let's hope that's not the case.
The Buffalo defense gave up 40 points, right? So we'll see. Last week, right? So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean,
Speaking of that, it's funny how I think my prediction was a low-scoring Jet game, right? I wasn't picturing a 34-32.
Oh no, I don't think anybody was. I mean, like I said, you got Justin Fields as a quarterback. You have a defense in the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know the Jets are going to run the ball, so you figure they're not going to be able to run the ball. And then you would think that the defense for the Jets was good enough to hold Pittsburgh down to not that many points either. And like I had to also just touch on the fact that Aaron Rodgers has reared his ugly head. He's the person that I never liked from the get-go, but when on the Jets, he's kind of was nicey. But just some of the comments that he makes and stuff like that. Yeah, it's good to beat everybody in the organization. Like
Listen, I don't blame him. If I was in Aaron Rodgers' shoes, I would say the same thing. So I can't blame him.
Yeah, you know what is that whole and I'm glad we could disagree with that finally on something because the whole cocky attitude, like he's the man and everything, that just turns me off and stuff like that. It just turns me off.
I was thinking when he made that comment, I laughed and I thought about it. If I was in Aaron Rodgers' shoes, if I was a Hall of Fame quarterback who had this terrible injury on the first play, this first drive of the season,
Yeah.
and the Jets didn't really give him a whole lot of options last year, I thought. And the line had some issues last year. I might, we did dump him. I might feel the same way if I was Aaron Rodgers. I don't really have any. I'm glad we parted ways with Aaron Rodgers and we did what we did. But
yeah.
I would probably say the same thing if I was Aaron Rodgers.
It's interesting because I'm thinking as you're speaking how Aaron Rodgers played very well and did very well under a different coach, and how Justin Fields and the Jets are doing so far very well under a different coach. So maybe the coaching thing has a lot to do with it. But
we said football's all about football is the one sport that coaching is extremely
more so than I realized. More so than I realized. However, like I said in one of my other video podcasts, in my opinion, with Aaron Rodgers' cockiness that turned some people off, probably including Aaron Glenn. When Aaron Glenn says, do you want to play football? And Aaron Rodgers says, I'm thinking about it. That's a problem. Because if I'm the coach, I don't want to hear I'm thinking about it. I want to hear, yes, I want to play football. Yes, I want to play for the Jets. Yes, I can't wait to make this team better. Not I'm thinking about it. And that's why Aaron Glenn said, take a walk. You're thinking about it. I believe.
Aaron Glenn wants to. He wants to build the team in his image. He doesn't want to have any leftovers. But
I believe, Ed, if Aaron Rodgers, like an interview, would have said the right thing, he would be on the Jets today. I think the fact that he said I'm thinking about it, like I
I don't
just
know.
think
I'm not sure if I agree. Possibly, but I don't know. Aaron Glenn may have wanted to start with a different quarterback because I wouldn't want to. I would not want to start my career with Aaron Rodgers at this point. If I was my first head coaching
I
job.
agree. I agree. I agree. I mean, especially as Aaron Rodgers wants to run the ship and bring in
Exactly.
his
I would not
offensive
want that if I was
coordinator.
my first. This is
Yeah,
my first go around as head coach.
he
Um,
brought in his offensive coordinator. He brought in his receivers. He brought in all kinds of people. It was a freaking who the hell? Get out of here! Take a hike.
Agreed.
Good
No. So
riddance.
he needs to start. He needs to start clean. Aaron Rodgers. And he did the right thing.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question. As I was watching. I've been to a number of Jet and Giant games where we hosted the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
I always noticed a big Pittsburgh
Mm-hmm.
contingency in whether it was MetLife Stadium or back in the day in Giant Stadium, even in Shea Stadium, going back to when the Jets were playing Pittsburgh when I went to a couple of games, Pittsburgh Jet games. And the commentators were at some point they were saying it's 50-50, it's 60-40. What would you were in the parking lot, you were tailgating, I think you had a contingency of 20 people.
If I had to take a guess, and I don't know if you saw my video yet of the whole game and me interviewing people and whatnot, it was a blast. I suggest everybody check it out. If I had to just say off the top of my head, I would say 50-50.
50-50, okay.
I mean, there were Steeler fans in front of me. There were Steeler fans to the left of me, to the right of me. You know,
Love those towels. They love bringing those terrible towels on the road.
Well, that was my whole thing about and I get it. My whole thing about being a Jet fan is I'm a Jet fan, and I've never really seen them have too much success. So I get a little bit twisted when I see Cowboy fans and Eagle fans and Patriot fans and Steeler fans because they watched these teams win Super Bowls. They became fans of the. That's how it usually is with these teams. They don't live in Pittsburgh or Dallas or New England. They're bandwagon fans.
Pittsburgh has it's not that far. Pittsburgh does have a decent, and when I spoke to some fans over the years, they do have a deep. Clearly, as you said, the Cowboys in Pittsburgh always traditionally had fans in New York and just front runners, people who when I was a kid growing up. I mean, how many Terry Bradshaw jerseys did I see as a kid growing up in grammar school? A lot.
Of course, yeah, that was the whole yeah.
And and Emmett Smith jerseys or whatever it was in my high school or college.
Yeah.
But the Pittsburgh fans do travel. It's not that far. They do make a lot of road trips. So there are a fair amount of people who, and they have the terrible towels. So obviously they got them somewhere, right?
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I'll let you know when I go to Tampa. I expect to be a lot of Jet fans there. There's a lot of
There's a lot of There's a lot of Jets always make the trip to Florida trips.
Yeah. So I got this whole Tampa trip coming up, which I'll document. Hopefully, it should be a really cool video. It's a set price for airplane tickets, 3 nights at a resort, tailgate party, a bus ride from the hotel to the game, all kinds of stuff going on there. I'm bus loads of Jet fans, I'm assuming. So that should be a good video. And also, I have a guy, Steve, who's a big Buffalo Bills fan. I'm hoping to get him on here and get his take on the results of the game after it's all said and done. And you and I will obviously touch base again after the game and before I take off of Tampa.
When do you leave? When do you leave for Tampa?
I'm leaving a week from Friday, so we'll try to get something scheduled maybe the same time.
So you're on the Friday before the game?
I'm leaving Friday morning, very early in the morning. Yeah.
You'll be there before even the Jets. The Jets will fly in on Saturday. You'll fly in ahead of the Jets.
I'll be there. I'll probably be in Tampa like 11 o'clock in the morning, Friday morning. My flight's like 7 o'clock in the morning or something like that, on Friday. So, yeah.
Looking forward to hearing the report from the stadium.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to taking video of the whole shenanigans and whatnot. And like I says, I'm pretty reserved and relaxed here in this video. But once I get to the game, as you see the tailgate party and I get my drink on, I have a good time talking to people and busting chops. So it's a lot of fun. So let's hope that the Jets win. That would be really, if the Jets win, they really making a lot of noise and a lot of news. I'm going
to be a little less enthusiastic than you. I just hope the Jets are competitive this week against the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, because then we know going forward that we have something going on here, and it's going to get better. It's going to get better. It'll get better at Tampa, and it'll get better with Miami, and I forget what the rest of the schedule is, but playing Miami twice, playing New England twice, and quite a few other teams, it should be good. But we need that defense to step up.
Yes,
that defense has to step up. And that hopefully they make a lot of corrections for the first game. It would have been great to win, even with all the mistakes they made. But hopefully they make the correction. So
Pointed out earlier, Aaron Glenn is, he was a quarterback, so this is his strong suit. So hopefully he can tighten up that secondary, as you said, a lot of missed coverages, and last week. So hopefully he can tighten that up.
yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting so far. I mean, even though we lost the game, it's exciting because we're just not used to the Jets
Being
going
competitive,
up and down the field, completing passes, scoring touchdowns.
almost 400 yards in a game. I mean, how often have you seen that?
Yeah. So it's great. So, all right. So stay tuned, everybody. Like I says, we'll come back next week and with the results of the Buffalo Bills game. And like I says, going forward, I'll probably talk a little bit more about my trip to Tampa coming up. And hopefully I'll have my buddy Steve on to talk about the Bills. He's a big Bills fan. And until next week, let's go Jets. And, everybody have a great week.
As always, Dave, thanks for having me.
All right. Take care, man.